Members of Congress want Americans to give more in donations. The Bipartisan Charitable Act could mean a larger deduction for taxpayers who give to places of worship and nonprofit groups. CBN Capitol Hill correspondent Michelle London spoke with the bill's co-sponsor on the impact of the legislation.
For Senator Lankford, getting this act passed through Congress soon is personal. He worked in nonprofits for close to 20 years, seeing firsthand just how much charities rely on our donations and time. Lankford admits, however, the spirit of giving has dwindled for many Americans in today's economy.
We want to create an environment where we tell people that the safety net of the world is not the federal government. It's the families first, our churches and nonprofits.
In order to get people to believe that message, Lankford's bill aims to give more to those who give back, especially to worship centers, charities, and other nonprofits of choice.
I'm very proud of how many Americans actually give to nonprofits, but we want people to actually be able to give a little bit more. Right now, the average American gives about 1.7% of their income to a nonprofit. 1.7%. That's not a lot.
And while he would like to see that number increase, Lankford knows certain changes must come first. The cap on federal charitable deductions for those who don't itemize would be raised to around $4,600 per individual, up from the previous cap of $300. Still, he stresses the importance of itemizing for maximum benefit.
Only that 9% of the country that actually itemize. We're trying to create an incentive for people that don't itemize on their taxes.
An American Bible Society study shows the number of Americans donating to charity has dropped almost 10% from last year. Its findings also reveal that American households with the lowest income levels actually give the most to a church or charity, with their donations exceeding 10% of their income.
Imagine for a moment if you're a lower middle class donor with that spirit of generosity, but you don't have the financial wherewithal, and all of a sudden you have an incentive.
Sam Rodriguez is a senior pastor of New Season Church in California. He believes that if this bill becomes law, it would lighten the load for members in his congregation, eventually creating a sense of unity beyond the church doors.
If you have a tithing policy or a tithing and offerings policy, whatever it may be, it will definitely increase it, enabling churches to become even more transformative as it pertains to impacting the communities around them.
Lankford believes a strong misconception about charitable giving is that larger donations matter most.
Nonprofits are very dependent on 1,000 small dollar donors, because those small dollar donors not only will give them $20 to be able to help, but they also become a volunteer base.
Teaming with Senate Democrat Chris Coons, Lankford says hundreds of organizations, including the YMCA, Goodwill, and the American Heart Association, are all supporting the effort. Introduced last year, the Charitable Act received renewed support this month. It came in the form of a letter from the Charitable Giving Coalition, signed by 470 organizations from all 50 states, urging Congress to pass the bill. While Lankford tells CBN News he doesn't expect a vote before the new year, he is pushing to get enough bipartisan support in the next Congress to get the act passed. Michelle London, CBN News, Washington.
An act that is certainly gaining a lot of support. Gordon?
Well, it should, because, you know, where's the heart of relief in America? It's always in the local community. And if you can encourage local organizations, and especially churches, to reach out with hands of love and compassion, churches can do things our government can't do. And it's unfortunate that we as Americans have started to look to the federal government for relief for whatever the social ill, the current one in the headlines, and you know, what can the government do? The question ought to be, what can we do together? And how can we do that in our neighborhood, and in our cities, and in our states? And how can we be transformative right where we are? If you encourage that and you encourage that community, that's the backbone of America, and it has been since our founding. De Tocqueville famously wrote about it. The reason America is great is because America is good. And then he goes into detail of that goodness, and you find it in the churches.